Flosstube. It's April, May, June Stitcher here. It's been about 6 weeks since my last update. I've finally broken up from work for Christmas, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to do an update video. I have got quite a lot to show, and depending on how long my video is, I will maybe show some previous Christmas finishes that I've done. I'll start with, these are all new starts that I've done. I think pretty much everything is related to Christmas that I've got to show except for some FFOs. Yeah, but so these were all new starts that I've done over Christmas, and these are the finishes that I've managed to get done. So this is Merry Christmas to all, no, Happy Christmas to all, and this is a freebie by Shepherd's Bush, and I've just got to sew on some tiny snowflake buttons, and then I can look at FFOing it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, probably just a pillow. And I've used the called for fabric because I just had a piece, and I think it's Tin Roof by Weeks, and then I've just used some, I think I've showed you before that I've got a bunch of silks to use up from previous kits that I've got, and random threads, random skeins that I've got, sorry. So I just picked whatever colour I wanted to do. So yeah, I love how that one has turned out. I bought this immediately as soon as I saw that it had finally been released, because I saw somebody else work on it on Instagram, and sorry that I can't remember who it was, but I just rushed to go and buy the PDF. And this is Merry and Bright by Pineberry Lane. It was originally a club kit, I think, from last year. And again, I used some leftover silks that I had, and I have not stitched the snowflakes at the top or the border because I ran out of the red silk. And in fact, I used it was the pashmina thread that was in a kit from Kitten Stitcher, and I can't remember what the name of it is because I've actually loaned my pattern to Kerry and Stitches, so I can't remember what the name of the thread is. But it was a funny silk where you could either split it up, and it's almost like two strands, but it was twisted together, or you could even divide that again. And I went with almost the two strands together. But then when it came to doing the mistletoe at the bottom, the holly at the bottom, I didn't have enough red silk left, so I actually split the threads in half, so that's why it's a little bit lighter than all the other red. But I'm glad that has been used up now, because it's almost fluffy. It's not like other silk that I've used in the past, so I'm glad it's gone. But I have got quite a lot of stitching done in that red, and it's a lovely colour red. So yeah, so that's Merry and Bright by Pineberry Lane. I'm all over the show at the moment. Then I finished this last night, well, this morning actually. This is Joy to You by Shepherd's Bush. Now this is one of the charts where you buy the button and get the chart for free. So you buy the button, which is the hat, and then you get the chart for free. I used, again, leftover silks that I've got, except for the body. You were supposed to use Gentle Art Wool, but I actually used, it's Madeira Lame. And what you do is you stitch with it normally, but then you get some Velcro and then which it's a bit to do it to start with, but you get some Velcro and sort of push it and then push it onto the stitching, and then that's what fluffs it all up. So I have given it an iron, so it's not as fluffy as what it was. But yeah, he's lovely, and I've had this in my stash for a few years, I think, and for as long as it took me to stitch, it shouldn't really have been in my stash for that long. So yeah, I'm glad I got that done. Right, now I will talk about my whips that I've been working on since my last video. And some of these aren't all Christmassy, so I'll do those first. You'll have to bear with me whilst I sort myself out. They're all at the bottom. I think there's only 2. So the first one that I started was the Pastoral Pocket by The Drawn Thread, and you can actually do this design as a sampler or as a pocket, and I decided to stitch it as a pocket. So it's going to look a bit weird because you have to stitch parts of it on upside down. So this is where I am. So the house is actually upside down, but this, I've actually put the year on it, which I don't normally do, but I've done that with a few things. But anyway, I don't think it'll get done this year, but I don't mind that it will say 2020. So I've done part of the alphabet there, and then the robin, and then the house is there. And I'm stitching this on 32 count, just some linen that I've hand dyed myself, just Rick dyed. And I've got a very technical method of doing it, which means I haven't at all. I literally fill up my IKEA bin that I've got and just chuck in some Rick dye, hold it, scrunch it up, get the linen, dunk it in the bin, and then pull it out, and that's it. That's literally all I do. And then I bung it in the tumble dryer to dry. And I've always been happy with the way my fabric has turned out, and if I don't, I bleach it, wash it, and then do the same again, and I've not had any issues. I know that Jem and Adele will laugh at me for my dyeing techniques. And then my other, this was a start. This is Harvest Trio by Jim Short, and I saw again somebody on Instagram start this, and I think it was Fat Cat Flossing, I think, and I just, oh, what is that? Because I haven't actually got many autumnal designs, so I thought, oh, I really fancy doing that. And it's a really quick stitch, and it's got I didn't realise how many beads were on it. And I'm not doing, no, I have done, ignore that. I've chosen a different fabric to do this on. It's a darker one, but I can't tell you the name of it because I just can't remember. So that's where I am, and it's a really, really quick stitch. So I've added the beads to the top blackbird, but then I just decided to carry on doing all the cross stitch, and then I'll do all the beading at the end. But I love the colours in this, and again, this is a joy to stitch on. I'm doing it on 28 count perming, I think it is. I'm just trying to use up my fabric that I've got, so I do tend to use quite a big piece just shove it in the middle. But yeah, that one is really lovely to stitch on. And then my other whips that I've worked on, they're not whips, some of them are new starts. In fact, I think they're all new starts. Yeah, they are. They're all Christmassy now. So this is Christmas Thought Sampler by the Drawn Thread, and this is really beautiful, and this is stitched up in the Nimble Thimble as a finished all frame. So I went there, I think I went there the day that we came out of lockdown 2.0. What I like about it is it's in the middle of nowhere, there's hardly anybody about, and you know, it's quite a safe place to be. So, and I just needed to get out, so I did. And I drove there and I bought quite a few Christmas patterns, and as I was leaving I eyed this up again, because that I first saw this when Adele, the Smurfette Stitches, showed it on one of her floss tubes that she bought it, and I thought, oh, that's nice. And I went to the Nimble Thimble and I looked at it, and it's really gorgeous stitched up. So I bought it, and it's just languished in my stash. So when I went a few weeks ago, I bought all these Christmas charts, and I ended up coming home and starting this, which I already owned. But anyway, I am stitching this on some 32 count Zweigart, the gold fleck. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. It should be done on summer khaki, which I bought this as a kit, so it did include, but I've just got stack loads of this. I mean, it'll only come to, that's halfway, so it'll only come there. Now I have got quite a lot of fabric used up, but I want to use up this fabric, and I think for Christmas designs it's great. So this is where I am hoping you can see that sparkle, and this is just, it's really quick, really stitches up really quick, and it's got some charms on it which I love, and it's the speciality stitches again which I love, and the Drawn Thread, I just think it's really underrated designer, but their charts are so beautiful. So yeah, and I'd like to get that finished now that I've broken up from work. I'd like to pick that up again and start. And then another one that I started, and this was actually in a pile of stuff too that I wasn't going to stitch, and I was just trying to sort it out, and I looked at it and I thought, no, I don't want to not stitch that. So this is Button Jewel by Shepherd's Bush, and this is from 1992, so it's really, it's got those 90s colours, which not my favourite, so I'm not sure if you can see, there's like, it's that certain pink and that certain green. Not that I don't like the 90s colours, because I loved the 90s, but it's just on this it didn't look very Christmassy, and the Merry Christmas was almost burgundy and mauve, and it's stitched up and in the Nimble Thimble, and it looks beautiful, but I just fancied doing something a little bit more Christmassy. So I'm trying, it's on massive fabric, it's 18 count, and you do it over 2. So this is where I am, and I'm just winging it as I go along, and I've used my Victorian Motto threads, because I've got a plethora of those, and they just sit there. I try to use them, but even if you just use them, it still doesn't look like they have been touched, because you get so much. But this is good because you use 3 strands over 2, so you get to go through your threads, which feels really good, I think. So yeah, so Father Christmas looks a little bit odd with his faceless, and his stomach looks as if part of it's missing because his beard has got to go down there. So yeah, I'm just doing this. I've got to think about it really, because I'm not great at changing colours. So we'll see how I go. And I'm also using the the Madeira lame to use as the fuzzy bits on Santa's outfit, and I might use it in other places as well, but we will see. And the other one I've briefly started is the freebie from Brenda Gervais, Merry and Minty. I'm sure everybody has seen this, but I quickly started this the other day and did the deal, but I'm not sure about my fabric. I don't particularly want to start it again, but I'm hoping you'll be able to see the white of the candy cane. This is some linen I dyed myself, but I don't really want to start it again, but we'll see. So again, now that I've broken up from work, I keep wanting to say school, I don't work in a school, I want to concentrate on this. Another failed, well, not another failed start, a failed start if you like, is Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I was so excited when this finally came, because I've waited for such a long time for this, and I've had it kitted for, I think, since March, the beginning of March, and I'm quite glad that I did have it kitted, because I think the threads are really hard to get hold of now because of, well, just the pandemic that's going on. Anyway, so I started this, and my threads looked identical, so I chose a different colour, and just the same thing has happened. So I think what I'm going to do is not stitch the reds, and I'm going to do everything else and see at the end what is going on, because literally my two reds in this are, there are 3 reds altogether, but my 2 of mine are literally identical, and I want there to be more contrast between the 2. So I'll decide what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to change my fabric. This is Old Town Blend, I think by R&R, but I think I'll go for something just a little bit darker, so the conch shows up well, because you just can't get dirty linen anymore. I think they maybe have discontinued it, but I mean, you couldn't really get it here anyway before that, so I'm not sure when I'll restart this, but yeah, we'll see. And that is everything for my whips, and I've got some FFOs to show you, which one of them was two of them were new starts and finishes and FFOs, and then another one was a start from Stitch Mania that I've finished and FFO'd. So the first one is Candy Cane Wishes by With Thy Needle and Thread, and I love him. I'm so proud of myself with the way this one has turned out, because in the UK you can't get the box that Brenda Gervais recommends that you use. You can't get that size box here. I think I searched for the company that she says on her chart to use, and it came up on Amazon, and you could get it for something like £50. It was ridiculous, so that's not what I was going to do. Anyway, I had these oval boxes, so what I decided to do was make the pattern fit the box. So I reduced the size of it by taking out stitches from the side, matching them up over here, and then in the snowman, making the snowman smaller. And I just love how he has turned out, and I painted the box red with some acrylic red paint from Hobbycraft, and then I waxed it with some furniture polish from Oakland Furniture, and it's light, so it almost adds it takes down the red, albeit the Hobbycraft red is really lovely actually. It's a proper Christmas red. So yeah, that's what I did to mine. And then I added some baker's twine, which has become one of my favourite things because I love how it looks. So yeah, I just I'm so pleased that this turned out the way it did. And I stitched this on 36 count Sunlit Forest by Sparklies, and I'm hoping, well, it is green, and it does look, it may not be as green as it shows on the screen, but it is lovely, and it looks like the cover, I think. Yeah, and then I just added some tiny chenille trim, and I've been asked a few times about the chenille trim that I use. It's much narrower than the Lady Dot Creates chenille trim that a lot of people use, which I have got anyway. But when I was there was not many places you could, well, there was one place you could get chenille trim from, Lady Dot chenille trim from, in the UK. So I just did a Google search and managed to find a company called 21st Century Yarns, and they do loads of other hand dyed fibres. They even hand dye some velvet, which is lovely, and I've got a few pieces of that. It's really lovely, lovely stuff, and you can see the variegation in the trim. Some of it is a bit ooh, but it's really nice, and it's lovely for little tiny designs without it being overpowered by a more poofy chenille trim. So I'll add a link to the bottom of that. And I think their colour, the colour chart that they show, they don't do all of the colours in the chenille trim for that, but have a look at the website, it's really lovely. I don't know why I keep showing you this, but I added 2 layers of batting and followed the instructions from the chart that Brenda provides, and it was really good. So yeah, I think he's one of my most favourite finishes ever. Just, I think, more because I made it work with what I had. Yeah. Then my other FFO, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see that the box is red and black, but anyway, this is Blackbird's Winter Delivery by Blackbird Designs, and I started this for Stitch Mania this year, which I only started 2 things and I didn't get on with it very well. But yeah, this is stitched on 30 count or 32 count Aztec Red by Weeks Dye Works, and this is the replacement fabric that's suggested because on the chart it's Cranberry Bog, I think, by R&R, and they no longer make that. But yeah, I finished this in this box from Hobbycraft, and it looks a bit odd with the black, and I'm not sure if to keep that like that. It doesn't look as dark as that in real life. But anyway, this box is a pine box from Hobbycraft, and it's actually got a cutout section on the top, so you can add needlework, or well, you can add anything to the back of it and it sort of clips in. This design was just a smidge too small, too big to be able to do that, so I actually put a piece of foam core in the recess to build it up to be one level, and the foam core that's your standard size is like the perfect fit, it makes it flush. And then I mounted this to some mat board, and then added some batting, and then added some black pom-pom trim around it, and it's quite poofy. And then for the inside I painted it red, and then added some fabric, again using some batting, just why not. But I'm not sure whether to leave this black like that, whether to just repaint it and then get rid of that like that. But So what I did for the finishing of this was I painted it red, and then I painted it black, and almost before I think I did 2 coats of red, and then before the black coat was properly dry, I got to my with my furniture polish, my Oakland furniture polish in light, I added some wax to it and then started buffing it, and that's how I managed to get the red to come through like that, which is what I wanted. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And then what I did was, because I didn't sand it to start with, what I then did was I couldn't find my sandpaper, or I think it was raining and I didn't want to go down to the garage to get it. I used some nail files and just sanded it using some nail files, and it worked a treat. So I do hope you can see the red coming through in the video. I suppose it worked, you can see it more there. But yeah, again, it's done and I love it. And then I FFO'd Winterberry Christmas at Winterberry Cabin by With Thy Needle and Thread. I'd finished this earlier in the year, and I'd done this on 28 count linen that I hand dyed using pearl grey rip dye, and I loved how massive he turned out, because I think it should be done on 36 count, I think. But I just wanted, again, to use up my fabric, but to also make this one quite big. And I've used that same red silk. This was all done with leftover silks that I've got, but this is that pashmina red silk. And then I bought some, took me ages to find some fabric that I wanted to use, but I've ended up buying some Harris tweed wool, which I think goes really well. And then they actually sent me a label, so I just stuck that on the back, and I would like to add some bells. That's how the finish is on the cover as well, just some bells. And then I wasn't sure if to add some chenille trim, but I don't think I will. I'll just leave him as he is. But I love how that one has turned out as well. And then my other start and finish FFO for Christmas was this one, and this is Bling Tree by Victoria Sampler. And I saw this, I think it was on eBay, and it was Chris from the Nimble Thimble selling it, and I phoned her up and asked her if she would send me a copy. And I've done mine a little bit differently, because it should actually have the hymn "Oh Christmas Tree," or the song "Oh Christmas Tree" around, not the hymn. It should have the song "Oh Christmas Tree" around it. I wonder if I've got the pattern so I can show you. The pattern to hand, let me see. There we go. So that's how it should look. And I liked it, but I just wanted a nice Christmas tree pattern, so I omitted all of that and just did the Christmas tree. And I just love how this looks. I love traditional Christmas things, and even with the sparkle, but I love it. This stitched up really quickly, and I think I did it in a few days, which sounds a bit ridiculous. And then I framed it in a wooden frame that I'd bought from the charity shop, which was like that horrible piney colour, that orangey piney colour. So I painted it black and I waxed it, but not with where it makes it shiny. I did it with a matte wax, and I love how it turned out. So that's my back. So yeah, so pleased with how that looks. And then some non-Christmas framing that I picked up whilst we were since my last video was, I've shown these before as in my finishes, but these are my FFOs. So this is Random Thoughts by the Drawn Thread, and I love my frame choice for this one. I'm hoping you can see it's really thick and chunky, because it was I was in there for over an hour picking my frames, because two of my things that I've had FFO'd were really hard to match up. But yeah, I love how this one has been turned out, and where I have my framing done, to me they always do an absolutely outstanding job, and they're very reasonably priced, and it's Betty Stitch Kit, and they frame loads of different other types of things, but to me they always do a fabulous job. And this is Let My Example Shine by Chessie and Me, and this, I love my frame choice for this one as well. So I'm super pleased with how that one's turned out. And then my other one is massive. This is Butterfly Garden, again by the Drawn Thread, and this is another one where I am super pleased with how this has turned out, because this was another one, it was hard to match up a frame because there's not really any brown in it, but I went with this, it's almost like a browny grey coloured frame. But yeah, and I'm glad I didn't have any sort of mats put with it, because it's already big and I didn't want it even bigger. So yeah, I'm so pleased, and it just sort of cheered things up, because when we were in lockdown I was able to pick these up, because they would you just phoned and then they would come to you outside and, like, you know, drop and go. So that was really good, and it cheered me up through lockdown 2.0 here in the UK. Snaps is we do an exchange every year. We do 3 exchanges: Christmas, but our birthdays, which we share, and Halloween. And we decided to go with a Lizzie Kate theme this year, but a tiny Lizzie Kate, and this is what she did for me, and it's Sled Dudes, and he's on the little sled, and I think he's lovely. And I'll insert a picture, this is the card that she sent me, I'll insert a picture of what I sent to Christina, and it's Merry bar from the Tiny Tidings range by Lizzie Kate. So my finish wasn't what I envisaged doing originally, but I'm so pleased with how he turned out anyway. Yeah, so again I used the 21st Century Yarn chenille trim and added some baker's twine as the little bow. So I love how it turned out, and I stitched it on 40 count platinum, so it was only tiny. So I will show you some old finishes that I've got from previous years. I will start off with, this is Forest Snowfall by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I did this as part of the Priscilla and Chelsea sale that they did, I think in 2017, I think. But yeah, I stitched it on some 28 count or 32 count linen that I dyed with some pearl grey rip dye, and then just used some silvery fabric to finish it off. This is Black Snowman by Shepherd's Bush, and this is a kit using silks and on some, I think it's Gunmetal by Weeks Dye Works, and I just had some check fabric and some Lady Dot chenille trim to finish him off. I'm literally just chucking my pillows, so This is Angel Abode by Good Florist Stitchwort, who's a seller on Etsy, and this is some 32 count Murano, I think, and it is dyed, but it doesn't look, you can't really see the fabric very well. I know it's by Sparklies, but I couldn't tell you the name of it. But yeah, this is done in all the call for threads, and I love this because I just think it's a little bit different. And I just backed it with some spotty fabric and some chenille trim by Lady Dots. Don't judge me for throwing my finishes like that. This is from the Frosty Forest by by Country Cottage Needleworks. I was going to do all the 6, but just I didn't want to do it anymore, so I just finished the one that I had done into a pillow. And I used the same fabric, dotty fabric, but a little bit lighter, and then added some chenille trim, and it also covers a multitude of sins with my stitching. And this one is December Wordplay by Brenda Gervais. This was one of the first things I did, FFO, when I first I borrowed my friend's sewing machine, or I just got my own, so everything's a little bit close, but if you don't look too much at it, it's fine. And I stitched this using DMC on 28 count Joblin, I think. And yeah, I've used the same check fabric and this is the 21st Century yarn chenille trim, so you can see the difference. You can see how much thinner it is than the Lady Dot, but I love that, because if you don't want something too much, it just adds something but not over the top. But yeah, I love him again. This one is from my exchange with Christina whilst Iris Snaps on Instagram from our 2019 ornament exchange, and we decided to do something from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. She's always loved this design and actually stitched one for herself, but did it on black fabric, and it's gorgeous. And whilst I'm mentioning whilst Iris Snaps, I did post on Instagram that she has actually started her own Flosstube, so please go and check her out. She's done a lovely job, and I think it's really funny. Yeah, it was just really nice to see her finally enter the Flosstube arena. Yeah, so please go and check her out, and I'll add her link below. So yeah, she added a little present, my initial, on the back, and added the trim, which I think is gorgeous. I won't throw that one. Then this is my Prairie Schooler Santa. I can't remember what year he is. And I actually used I'm not sure if you can tell, but I used the DMC Etoile for him. But yeah, I love him, and I used some red ticking, and again some 21st Century Yarns chenille. And I stitched this on 28 count natural, I think, 2/2. Yeah, 2/2. Then this is Santa's Flight by Shepherd's Bush, and I used I know I used some Victorian Motto threads for this one, and a few other randoms, and it comes with some silver charms. Now this pattern is actually done in 3 different blocks, on 3 different fabrics, which I had the fabric, but I really fancied just doing it all as one scene, and I love how that turned out. And I used the same check fabric. This is all gone now, it's slightly skew with, but whatever. And again, I used some Lady Dot chenille, and this is done on, I think it's I can't remember the name of the fabric, but I know it's Murano, 32 count Murano by Sparklies. What Maelstrom, and I think that's a lovely wintry colour to use. This was one of my very first FFOs, and this is Yule by the Primitive Hair, and this was part of the Year of the Wheel freebies that she did, and I used some red fabric, I think I've used it upside down actually looking at it, but whatever. Yeah, and I did the crown in gold, and my original plan for all of these was to stitch them in a circle. Yeah, I didn't get very far, and I ended up stitching, I like them as single things. I've done 2 anyway. Then this is a little snow, I think, I can't remember, it's by Lizzie Kate, using all the called for threads, and you get a little charm. You get the fabric, the charm, and the buttons. Is there any buttons? No buttons in the kit. It wasn't a kit because I added my own threads. And then I used some old pyjamas, so it's that brushed cotton stuff, and then added some of the 21st Century Yarn chenille again. This is one that I did last year, and it was on my plan before we knew about the coronavirus. It was my plan to stitch all of the little sheep virtues, one a month. You know how successful I am at doing that. I only managed to get January done. So this is Hope by Little House Needleworks, and I used some wool felt, and I've followed Vonna's tutorial that she's got on her blog to help me finish this and do the blanket stitch, and then I just added some, whatever this stuff is called, but I would like to do these because I do like them. And then this one is, I can't remember what it's called, but me and Christina were going to do she mentions this in her Flosstube, but we were going to do an ornament a month from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and she was much more successful than me. I think I did 2, and this was one of them, and I can't even remember. Oh, yeah, I think, how did I do 2? I did 3. Anyway, I can't remember what this one's called, I'm afraid, but it is, if I find out, I'll link it below, which I'm not very successful at doing. I added some chenille trim and some more check fabric, which is pink. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, it's just tiny. And then another one that I've done, this is, I actually stitched this for an exchange, but once I'd finished it, I didn't want to give it I didn't want to give it away, so I did something else. This is a Prairie Schooler from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it's actually done on, I think it's red fabric, and the house is all one, I can't remember, it's all one colour. I'll try and remember which one it's from and add a link below, but I just loved how this one turned out, and I really didn't want to give it away, and I didn't want to stitch it again. I just wanted this one, so I kept it. I used some holly fabric and some of the 21st Century yarn. Now you can see how much that goes from dark green to light green on that one, but I think it goes really well with the fabric at the back. And then this one I actually got in an exchange. This is my exchange gift from the Dixie Sampler exchange, and I think this is Pineberry Lane, and it's from one of the Primitive, Punch Needle and Primitive magazines, I think, I can't remember, and that's the fabric for that. Then I've got some other pillow finishes, are probably the only thing I can do. So this was Frosty, no it's not, Jolly Happy Soul by Brenda Gervais, and this is one of my most favourite designs of hers, and I love him. I actually had it sent off to be finished, but I actually unstitched it myself and stuffed it a bit more because it wasn't as stuffed as what I would have liked, so I just added more in, and I like him. He is done on 36 count summer khaki, and I love how that makes the snowman stand out. This is one of my just cross stitch finishes. This is Blackbird Designs. I can't remember what it's called, from one of the Just Cross Stitch magazine ones, and I finished it with some fabric and shockingly chenille trim. And then I finished this one earlier this year, and this is, I'm not sure if I showed it in my last video actually, but this is I know, with Dye Needle and Thread, and it's the series that she does that I can't think of the name of right now. No, that's gone. So I used the last of this check fabric, I think, so you'll be glad to see the back of that. And I didn't do the peppermints at the bottom, and this is one where I used some silks, leftover silks, and possibly that same red for the house. So I really did get my wear out of that red. Love that. And then one of my most favourite finishes, where I completely copied Farm Girl with the way she did hers, even down to the fabric that she chose. So this is Horse Country Holiday by Artful Offerings, and this is the country sampler conversion, except for the fabric. The fabric is 36 count Brash by Picture This Plus, and then I added some velvet ribbon and this really lovely check fabric that I got from a lovely little store that is not too far away from me in Lichfield, called Lime Place, the Lyman Place, I think. But it's really lovely, and I got the green velvet from there as well. But yeah, this is one of my most favourite finishes, and I did take my time to try and stitch it, sew it up as straight as I could, because I loved how Michelle's was finished, and I just wanted her finished, to be honest. But yeah, I'm so pleased with how this one turned out for me. And then just two final things is some frame things that I did, and this is Santa by the Pink Needle, and this pattern was very kindly sent to me by Linda Jo Pretty Southern. This is the Shepherd's Bush conversion that they did. I made a few little changes to mine, just because there should be a non-stitched, there should be a gap between, it should go down like that, that was not an error, but there should be sort of no stitching right up to the other stitching, but I just wanted it to look like he was touching the floor. And I used all of the Shepherd's Bush threads, and I love how he turned out. This was originally framed in a white frame, but it didn't really do anything, so I took it apart, painted the frame very, very roughly with black, and then I over painted that with some, it's almost like a grey that you can't really see, and even then I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with it. And then I waxed it and then rubbed quite vigorously to get the brown to show through, and then I also did sand it with actual sandpaper this time, not a nail file, to get it to go like that. But I prefer that than how it was originally, just in a plain white frame. And then finally, this is Pomegranate Santa by Plum Street Samplers, and I omitted the snowy bank that he was walking on, and just had finished it like this. And he's one of my favourites as well. I love this design. But after seeing Jennifer from Stitching Social, Stitching on Blue, which was, I've seen a lot of people do that since. It looked absolutely phenomenal, the finish. It just made everything, yeah, just made all the colours pop really well. I know she did it on a week's fabric. I can't remember the name of it. I did message her the name of the fabric because she wasn't sure, but it just looks phenomenal. So go and check her out. I'll add her Instagram link and their Flosstube because she does videos with her sister. But yeah, I don't know whether to redo him, but when I got him out this year I thought, oh no, I do like what I've done. And I did him on a 32 count linen, some that I dyed, and this is one of my most successful hand dyeing jobs that I did, where I just love the variegation. But again, I don't use anything scientific. I just want quick and get it over with. However it turns out is however it turns out. But yeah, I love this one. I feel like I'm really rambling. I'm sorry if that's what I'm doing. And then, oh no, I've got one more finish. I could have some more, I'm not sure. This is from Shepherd's Bush. I can't remember the name of it now, but you finish it in the little tray. You buy it as a kit and then you can buy the tray separately. I'm sorry about the light because of the shadow this is casting, but it is a really sweet design. Merry Little Christmas, maybe that's what it's called, I don't know. But he stitched up really quickly. I did him last year, and I added some batting to this and literally stuck it in. I've got the Halloween one and the summer one with the bees to do. Yeah, this was another finish that I love. Now I will show you what I've bought. There's not that much that I've bought, more than last time maybe. So I bought the Wee Santa from Heart in Hand, and this comes with little charms, which I like. Yes, he's really sweet. I've got about 3 of those. This is one of my most favourite things that has come out, and I'm so pleased that I've finally got my hands on it. And this is what is this called? Early Christmas Morning, which again was a club piece in 2018, because that's what's written on the drum. I love this one, but I'm scared about doing a drum, especially one that big, but I would like to have a go at doing one. Then this one is, I'd seen this ages ago on 123 Stitch. I think it's only come out this year, but yeah, 2020, when I found out that Arts and Designs was selling it, I ordered it along with the Blackbird designs. This is My Dear by Hands to Work, and I just love this. I think it's a really sweet little design. I don't know why I love it, but I do. So I'm dropping everything. So this is a Pink Snowman by Shepherd's Bush. This is the kit. I've got quite a few of those, which I would like to do. Then I've got It's Cold Outside by With Thy Needle and Thread. I love all these that have come out this year. And When Santa's Away, The Mice Will Play. The Mice Will Play, yeah. Love this. I might actually start this over Christmas, hopefully. And then Mr. Marshmallow by With Thy Needle and Thread, and I have actually got the call for fabric because it was left over from my holiday hoopla, the Halloween that I had, so that's good. Stella's Sleigh Ride by Chessie and Me. I have actually got a sleigh that I've had for a few years, like an MDF plywood type sleigh. So I might actually do something with that if I can fit it in. I'll see. But yeah, it's just a little sweet design. And then this is Christmas Tree Ornament number 2 by Fairy Wool in the Woods. I thought he was sweet. And then this is Santaville by Homespun Elegance. And then it comes with 2 little mother of pearl star buttons. But I quite like that one. And this is a little bit different. This is a kit by the people who sell the buttons. I can't remember their names. Because I've just deconstructed the packaging, because I did actually try to start it but not too successfully. What are they called? I can't remember, but they sell this, the French company, the bees, something to do with bees maybe. I'll add a link below. But this is literally an entire kit where you get the fabric, the buttons. That's where I am so far. I've just literally ironed on that. And you get everything. This is mine. You have to cut that out yourself. But you do get the little snow globe type thing. And then, can you see the little truck? The truck button that you get. This is not Christmas. But I was not very enamoured with this book until I started to see people stitching things from it for Halloween. And I just had to have it. So this is Sisters by Blackbird Designs, and it is a really underrated book, and took me a while to like, but I'm so glad I've got it now, and it adds to my autumnal type stitching. And then this one, this is from the Drawn Thread, and it doesn't look anything in the picture. And this is Toccata number 2, and it's absolutely beautiful in real life. This is stitched up as a finish in the Nimble Thimble, and it's really beautiful, but you can't really see that from the picture. But it comes with all gold Japanese thread and silks, so that's another one. Got quite a few of the Drawn Thread. And then I've got my Winds of Autumn book. I know this has only just come out and there's been loads of flip throughs for it, but it's very well worth picking up if you can. And then it's got the giant strawberry from a club piece. I think maybe these were all club pieces or other little designs that were released a few years ago. Yeah, it's got some lovely designs in it, so definitely go and get that. And then I must be crazy, well, I think, yeah, we all know that by now, but watching Adele Smurfette Stitches stitching her stocking for her son has just really made me want to do a stocking. And I got this one from Dimensions, what's it called, Santa's Journey. And I just think he's great. The one I really did want was from like 20 years ago, and you'd have to pay £1 million for it. So I just went with one of the ones where you could readily get them. So I love him because I love traditional Christmas designs. And then because I couldn't get the Victorian style one that I wanted, I ended up getting these as well, which is Christmas Village Ornaments, which has got that Victorian look about them. And again, I love these. They're full coverage, and that comes, which, oh, but anyway. Finally, and I think this is quite funny, but Christina messaged me this and I was like, oh my god, what is that? I need to go and buy it. So I did immediately, and I posted it to Instagram, and it's my most liked posts I think ever on Instagram, and it's for something that I've not done, but it's the Owl Forest embroidery Merry Christmas, and I just think this is so beautiful. And I think we're going to try and do a no, I'm not going to say anything because it never comes out, does it, with what I say. I just think this is so beautiful, the way they've done it. So I've got that, and I do think, is that everything I've bought? I think so. I've just remembered that I have got a few other things that I've bought, and this I just think he's beautiful, and this is Santa of the Forest by Lavender and Lace, and I know again I've mentioned a load this video, but Christina and Wild Cyrus Snap did this 20 odd years ago, and he looks absolutely gorgeous, and I think a few other people have started him recently. I think Vanna was one of them. I bought this pattern without realising that Christina had even stitched him, so when she showed him I was like, oh, he's gorgeous. So he's massive though. But yeah, I've got some fabric. He's supposed to be done on natural, but I think my natural looks like it's quite ill, so I'm not sure. I've got some of that sparkly 32 count as what I got again, or I might do him on some granite that I've got, and I've got most of the threads, like I'm going to start him anytime soon. And then something else that I would actually like to get into is some applique, or applique as you say in the US, and Rebecca from Hedgerow Stitching showed some patterns on her latest Flosstubes, and I was like, oh, beautiful patterns, and you could buy them as PDFs. So I have bought a few, and then I've also bought quite a fair bit of wool that I've managed to get my hands on. So this is one, what's this one called? Winter Bear, and I think that one's really sweet. Then these are all from what's the name of the Rebecca Smith, but I'll link it below. This is winter, is this winter snowdrop, just called Snowdrops. They're really reasonably priced PDFs, and this is a Christmas box. This is a Woolly House box lid. That's quite dark, I hope you can see that. Summer Hydrangea. And I've copied some of Rebecca's patterns that she's bought because I just thought they were beautiful. And then finally, this is Festive Woolly Set. So yeah, I really love those. And then I've also bought the digital version of the Buttermilk Basin. I think it's 50 ornaments or 30 ornaments, Christmas ornaments. There are a few patterns on there, and as I say, I've managed to get hold of some wool. I've got felted wool as well as wool fabric, so I'm quite pleased with what I've managed to get, and hopefully I'll be able to do some of these designs over my Christmas break. So yeah, that'll be really nice to do, you know, do that other hobby that I don't really need. But yeah, I'm excited to have a go. Anyway, I have got my Christmas jumper on, but you can't really see it. It's a giant Rudolph. with a red nose. It just looks like these antlers are strategically holding up my boobs, but never mind. I hope everybody has a lovely Christmas break and enjoys a Merry Christmas if you celebrate, or just enjoys time with their family and friends as much as you can be in this time. I hope everybody stays safe and warm and enjoys the time, and is looking forward to 2021, and let's hope it'll be I have enjoyed 2020, and I know that sounds bizarre. I've not enjoyed the whole situation, but with everything that's gone on surrounding the pandemic, you know, but I've enjoyed being able to be at home and stitch, because I think it's been quite a good year for me personally with my stitching and what I've managed to get done. Oh, I forgot to mention this one. This is one of my exchange pieces from Christina. I think this was the very first thing we did, and I know it's from, I'll have to ask her what it's from. Is it Good Housekeeping? Good I can't remember, but he's lovely. Yeah, I do hope that people are looking forward to 2021. I should show you that myself, Gem Stitch, and Adele from Gem Stitch, Adele from Smurfette Stitches, we've had a lot of discussions about this, and we're going to do a new year, new start, and we all decided on the same designer, because we all had charts from the designer and kitted up, and we're all going to start this on New Year's Day. So I'm going to do Anne Grimshaw by the Scarlet Letter. I've had this for a while now, and I would really like to just make a start on it. And I know Adele is going to do the same one, and then Gem is going to do Spot Motif. I'm sure that's what it's called. She's going to do that one. So yeah, we're looking forward to starting that on January the 1st. So yeah, I've got all mine kitted up, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use this thread or a rat's nest of black silk that I've got, that I over dyed myself from Silks For You. And they've seen a picture of it, and it'd make your eye twitch. It really is just a mess. But yeah, it is a big design, but it's one that I have wanted to stitch for a while. So yeah, so anyway, that is definitely all from me. I think this will be actually quite a long video, but I've not done one for a while, so yeah. Anyway, Merry Christmas everybody, and I will either see you in between Christmas and New Year or in the new year. Anyway, take care everyone. Bye.